Hey everyone, I'm Mark,
And I'm Alex.
and this is Final Stop for Final Fantasy Talks. All right, well, welcome everyone back to the Final Stop Final Fantasy Talks podcast. We're going to go ahead and just kick off this episode, man. So, we are kind of at the end. We've done mostly everything. Yeah, we could progress a little bit further, but we're still going to hit a wall very, very soon. So, it's kind of like, what do you do at this point? We've already kind of covered some side content and things, but like this is the end game. This is like essentially the end game for this Final Fantasy. There's a plethora of new things to do. I mean, like comparing to just our experience up to this point. We were kids, 7, 8, 9. This was like, oh my gosh, there's so much more. We didn't even have this version either.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, at this point, it's kind of the point of no return in the game, right? So it's always a good time to do some of those side quests, kind of break away from the main story and actually do something a little bit different. And in this one in particular, we're going to be covering the monster arena, and we're also going to be covering some of the side locations, or at least one that we haven't really talked about yet.
As everything especially with the monster arena, there is so much to the monster arena. It's insane. You look in the strategy guide, just all the different beasts that get created that are basically all a bunch of mini bosses, and just it's insane amount. So we are gonna have to glaze through that. It kind of You're in the same boat as you are in pretty much any game, especially Final Fantasy series up to this point. You need to just level up. You need to get stronger, right? You can't really tackle on a lot of the stuff. Even the area we're going to go into today, it's kind of it'll check you at times really easily. And so, luckily, there's a few things to help us actually level faster in this game. Some do have the experience boosts and all that. Celestial weapons will help you out because they have the double AP on it, and that's great. But
Yeah.
you can customize something better than that, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, when it comes to this, leveling up, there are a whole bunch of different ways you can do this. Obviously, if you just wanted to go to a really difficult area like, Sin, or what's that end game part, the City of Dying Dreams or something like that, you can just grind enemies there and level up. But yeah, if you don't have an ability like double AP, it's takes a long time. So it's kind of the best way to do it is to get these abilities. Aside from celestial weapons, you can also customize your own. And in fact, that's the way that you can really, really get a ton of sphere levels in a very short amount of time. But the required for those customizations are pretty hard to come by.
Yeah, and luckily we have a few options. So I did mention double AP. Well, there's triple AP, and it's gonna cost a pretty penny. It's 50 wings to discovery, and we will go over some items and some various things. So it's gonna get pretty nerdy in this episode, but we are going to kind of discuss some of the ways we can get these. Because I mean, triple AP, that is not going to be an easy one to do, but the double AP, as we kind of mentioned before, that's 20 mega elixirs. It's a little bit easier, we have a little bit more ways to get mega elixirs a little bit faster than at least we have Wings to Discovery right now.
Yeah, exactly. And you can actually get double AP drops a lot easier. You can bribe for those items for Mega Elixir. I mean, and we'll talk about this, but the Wings to Discovery, I would not try to grind because you're gonna have to bribe and it's just gonna be an insane amount of money. But some of the more easy ones I guess you could get is this ability that's kind of interesting. It's called Overdrive to AP, or Overdrive and then it just, has an arrow to
Yeah.
AP. What this does is this converts your overdrive gauge. So basically, that doesn't increase at all. It just converts everything into AP. You can get a ton off of this. If you have something like, trying to think, like Slayer or something like,
Yeah, some of the ones that fill it up
Warrior,
like really easily.
yeah, you can get a lot more AP. So that's a nice one. And that requires Door to Tomorrow times 10.
You'll get like a nice heap of them. 99 here. We'll go over how you get those pretty easily. It's not that hard. So, boom, you could customize everyone with this one. And dude, off the top of my head, do you happen to know any statistical numerical conversion here? We're converting a charge bar into actual values. Like what is it
Yeah.
actually represented?
I have no idea. I've never actually even looked it up. I'm going to be honest. I only really ever use Overdrive to AP in a very specific strategy.
Yeah.
that requires one of these monster arena battles. It's basically the Tomberry version, and he hits you with a karma move that breaks the HP limit or the damage limit. So, your characters will be getting hit with basically 100,000 damage. You just get an insane amount of AP for that at the end of the battle, especially if they have auto Phoenix. You just get killed over and over and over
Yeah.
again. You finish it up, you'll pretty much get 99 sphere levels.
Wow. It is crazy. And so just imagine triple AP with overdrive AP, right? I mean, you're stacking it up. And well, for the overdrive, let's make that one a little bit sweeter if we can. Now, double overdrives, not so hard to get. It's kind of one of those abilities that unless you're doing it for this, and well, spoiler alert, guys, what are we building here? We're building a leveling weapon. I mean, that's what's like very,
Exactly.
very few instances would you ever use this? It'd be when you're intentionally just trying to get as much experience as possible as quickly as possible. So double overdrive, fantastic if you can toss it on with overdrive AP. Triple overdrive though, that might be even better.
Yeah, exactly. That one is extremely good. And going back to what you're saying too, exactly. The starting equipment for this is going to be one of those weapons that you can buy from Wants. I think they're about 150K, so they're not exactly cheap, but they have 4 free slots, and you can just say you want to level 3 characters, just buy 3, and then basically make one ultimate weapon for leveling up. But triple overdrive is pretty difficult. You need winning formula times 30, and we will get that for a prize, but
Yes.
getting more of that is extremely difficult. You either have to bribe or steal, and stealing, of course, you usually get 2 at a time, so tough to get 30.
Yeah, and you kind of hit the nail on the head here with these Final Fantasies. You always kind of choose your core, right? You have, and maybe you eventually do kind of quote unquote level everyone up eventually, but you kind of get the people you stick with and you like and you use them the most. Well, this is kind of how it's starting to go simply because of, yeah, I mean, you will get some of these items, but it's kind of rare that you have something customization, like Door to Tomorrow times 10. Usually it's like 30 or something. And so you can't put it on everyone, usually 3 maximum, if not maybe 1 or 2. So at that point, you are really having to kind of hone down, okay, who do I want to use the most because they're going to benefit right now from all of these items.
Through most of the game, you tend to use all characters, or at least, a good amount of them. You'll find use in them. Once you get to the end game, it just takes too long to level everybody up and teach them all abilities and give them all equipment and all these types of
Yeah.
things that require grinding of some sort, either for gil, for bribing, or through rare drops, or whatever it is. I mean, all Final Fantasies are the same. When you get to the end game type stuff and ultimate abilities, armors, etc., they all just require a lot of work. The game makes you put in a lot of work for those because the abilities are really, really good. So it usually is the best idea just to choose 3
Yeah.
main party to go with.
And then you can do something like we just went over. So, I mean, you could have, let's just, ideal situation, you could have triple overdrive, overdrive to AP, in triple AP. I mean, because why not? Again, you want to maximize. And then you got one free one for, I don't know, whatever the heck you want, and then you're just going to go to these places or these very specific things like the monster. Dude, I don't even know about that. That's hysterical. That's what you want. Oh my gosh, 99 levels and one. Yes,
Man,
please.
it, it's so easy too. I mean, once you have it unlocked, because you don't even have to beat him to get the
Yeah, that's
AP.
true. It
So,
just that you cannot
yeah.
game over.
Yeah, and when you have triple overdrive and overdrive to AP, the formula, I don't know exactly what the formula is of that ability, but what I do know is when it like overkills your overdrive gauge, like you're getting hit for an insane amount of damage and you have stoic,
Yeah, it
you
just
get just a
charges it.
crazy amount of AP.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like logarithmic.
That might be my golden goose here for actually completing Final Fantasy X because I've never even come close. Kind of same with Final Fantasy 13. These are some of the ones I inquire immense amount of time if you kind of just do it
Mhm.
traditional methods of you got to level, you got to get a ridiculous amount. There's no level cap. It's just a much wider system. And so anyway, so that's definitely a great option of making these weapons. And so to help with that, to getting some of these items because some of them are quite rare, but you can get them quite easily. Let's go to the monster arena, man. Like in my opinion, you have to do this. I mean, even just some easy ones here and there, maybe to get Yuna's Nirvana or something. I mean, just you'll do it in some sort of fashion. But man, some of these are really easy to get. So much so that I think people kind of pass up because it's just I don't want to deal with it.
It is totally worth it. And basically, the whole thing with this is So the Monster Arena guy, which you can basically find as soon as you get to the Comlands, he sells weapons that have a special ability that you can't even customize. That is capture, and all of the weapons he sells are exactly the same. They have two slots, one with capture, one free. So we'll talk about abilities that you can put on there, but basically you just want to go out and it's like Pokemon basically, you're just trying to
Yeah.
catch them all. You just have to kill the enemy to capture it. So that's the one thing you want to keep in mind, especially when it comes to customizing other abilities on there. You want to think about things like piercing, sensor, first strike. You get prizes depending on what kind of, I guess, conquest it is.
These are really easy to do, just capturing the one monster. I mean, in fact, if you just go there naturally as the game progresses, when you get to the Calmlands, he'll actually, that's your task, is to go in the Calmlands and capture one of every monster. And so you'll do this, and it's kind of easy. But what happens is, like, he'll start making things out of it. It's like, dude, what kind of evil sciences you got cooking down there? I mean, like, what are you
Yeah.
doing with these beasts? Well, apparently he's
Yeah.
cutting limbs and splicing them together. And they'll create a monster, and he's like, hey, you want to try? You do it. And then this thing just one shots the party by doing like 30,000 damage. Like, okay. It's gonna be like that for a very long time.
Oh yeah, 100%. And the first fight he offers for free. And you're thinking, "Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I get a prize, as soon as I beat this thing." And even for the first area, it's something I think it's a Chimera Geist is
Yeah.
the very first one, and it's the first one you'll come across once you get one of everything in the Calmlands. You're thinking, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'll take him on." And like you said, he'll hit for quad 9. Pretty much guaranteed unless you have like at least over 100 defense, pretty solid stats, like stats that you're not going to have without some sort of
Right.
grinding or
Yeah.
leveling up or,
Abnormal
you know,
amount
s-
of time spent. Here's the thing though, you want to do these, you get lots and lots and lots of prizes. So there's a few different categories. We're going to start with at least just like the areas. So if you do, as we just mentioned, like with the Comlands example, if you just go and you capture one of every different type of fiend in that area and then go back to them, you'll get a prize. Each area, Besaid, Kilika, Mihenhira, so on and so forth. Each one has its own prize, and all of them are pretty good. Some of them will be like, I don't know, poison proof and all these different kind of customizations, but kind of just,
yeah.
I don't know, some notable ones is you'll need the Blossom Crown if you plan on getting, Balgamines and Yunas like line all the way to the end. And that's one of every monster at the Gagazette, including caves in there. You can't forget that part. And then Omega Ruins, which we will get to. That's our surprise, area that we'll get to the end game. You get 60 designer wallets, and I like mentioning that just because that will customize Gillionaire, so we'll get some Gill flow going here.
Oh man. Yeah, that's an awesome one. A couple of other really easy ones, I would say, if you're just wanting to sort of, just get some items from some of the easier places. You mentioned poison protection and poison strike, things like that. That's Kilika. And that's really easy when
Oh,
you think
yes.
about it. I mean, I think there's like 4 fiends there or something like that. So if you go, you just get one of those, you get 99 poison fangs for that. Another really good spot, there's a few, but I guess I'll just name the easier ones. Mushroom Rock, you get 99 petrify grenades for that. So that's at least 2 stoneproof armors or a stone strike. And Thunder Plains, you get 99 chocobo feathers.
I mean, so that's the thing. There's tons. I mean, think about how many areas.
Yeah,
And
you
some of
get a
these
lot.
are definitely harder and more time consuming than others. Even just mention Omega Ruins. It's like, yeah, okay, well, I can't even defeat half the enemies there. And it's like, yeah, well, I mean, exactly. Some of the other rewards, though, there's the different species. And if you catch 10 of each, within that species. So, I mean, you got 10, it's not just one. But if you, for instance, capture all the drakes of all the kinds, you'll get 99 purifying salts, which is no encounters, and you might be like, oh, yes, please.
Especially if you're playing the original like we were.
Oh,
This was
yes.
pretty much the easiest way to do that. I mean, at least on the HD remaster, you can just straight up turn off encounters.
Yes.
Even still, that's a good one, but also pretty crazy when you think about it. Part of the difficulty with this when you get to places like Cavern of the Stolen Faith, Mount Gagazet, is there's a whole bunch of fiends around. And trying to get specific ones, like 10 of the Nidhogg, for example,
Yes.
it takes a little while. You have to keep getting in encounters
You're
with the
doing a lot of,
grats
yeah.
and yeah.
You're doing a lot, and it's funny because even in that targeting, you're actually probably going to be capturing a lot of other things as well. If you're not just fleeing, you might just be fleeing like, oh, okay, leave and let live, and do that whole deal.
Yeah, and when you start getting 10 of everything, you'll keep coming across those same encounters. Definitely want to just run, you don't want to keep just sitting there fighting everything over and over and
Yes.
over again. But here's one that you probably don't want to bother with, and that's or at least not intentionally, the Iron Giants. And this one you would think is pretty easy. It's just Iron Giant and the two Geminis, 10 of all three of those. Yeah, mana tablet times 60. Now, what can we do with that?
There's only one useful reason why you would do this. I mean, other than just completionist. Because it's not going to be for 60 mana tablets for an MP Stroll. Oh my gosh, man. We're talking about
The Beast Stroll.
Gillionaire, no encounters, magic booster. We're getting like really good stuff. And then MP Stroll. No, I've never
MP
had
Stroll. Wait,
MP
what?
issues that I've needed to fix by walking around.
No, these are very obviously. I think you just want to toss them in battle using use to get double MP.
Yes, oh, it's ridiculous. But one other highlight is bombs, and there'll be another reason why we'll talk about this one. But turbo ethers, you'll get 60 of them, and that's magic boosters. So that's a pretty easy
Nice.
one. Just if you're like, yeah, I want magic booster. I mean, go for it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, you match that with something like 1 MP cost. Yeah, really good one. And then there's even another level. And so a lot of these, if you're just capturing, you might just randomly stumble across these. These you get the best prizes for. I mean, these are so worth it, but not super easy to get. We're going to talk about the original creations that he comes up with here. And so these you have to get, collection of species or collection of areas.
And then there's actually one interesting one, which we'll go ahead and let's start with this, is that two of each underwater fiend. And we were talking about this. We're like, only Mount Gagazet caves, right? Like those are the only underwater ones that you can go and actually fight, willfully. The rest of them, like the Sahagins or whatever, those you never actually
Mhm.
get to encounter those outside of forced battles.
But you get an awesome prize for that. I mean, so this one, like you said, is actually very easy when you think about it. But for a prize, you get Mega Elixir times 30.
Two of each. That's it. And I mean, if
Yeah,
you just went and you did the Mount Gagazet one for the Blossom Crown, you already got one of each just for doing that. So just catch another one. Boom. Instant double AP right there.
exactly. I was gonna say, yeah, that's perfect for that. Then you got some of these other ones. So two areas. Now you get a crazy prize for this. 3 stars times 60. The only other way to get that is the Chocobo race at Remium Temple. And that's not easy to get because you have
No.
to basically get 5 chests and hit zero of the poles.
You'll have restarted the race probably for your fifth time. Huh. Only five. Good luck. You got a long ways to go. By the time you
Yeah,
get this, by just going to Besaid, catching the 3 monsters, and then going to Kilika and capturing the 4 monsters. Boom. It takes like 5 minutes, man. It's so easy and quick. One
it's
MP
crazy.
cost or break MP limit. I mean, that's a fantastic prize.
I know, that's unbelievable. One thing though, definitely be careful who you put these abilities on because you're not going to be able to get these items very easily. Just keep that in mind. 3 stars,
Yeah.
not
Be
easy at all to
thinking
get.
forward, very far forward. Like, what will I
Oh yeah.
want this for?
Yep. Don't put it on a 2 slot item with oh, I
Capture.
don't know, sensor. Yeah. Exactly.
Unless you're just rolling in it and you somehow got a trick
Oh,
that I don't know
maybe.
about, but and so the other category of species, this one actually is not so easy. We're gonna kind of just go in order because it's kind of like the required amount. But the species, I mean, it does take longer. Now, for this one, 2 species, you'll get 60 supreme gems. That one
Nice.
isn't so bad because the aforementioned iron giants, there's only 2 variations of them. And then even like the bombs mentioned, there's only a few variations of that also. Some other ones like the fungus types, not very many of.
Yeah.
The imps, not very many of. And so these
Mhm.
things definitely target those first just to get these rewards quite easily because that way the 2 species, not bad. Now, Supreme Gem times 60, man, I mean, it's a great reward, but I'm a little let down.
You can at least customize strength plus 20% or magic plus 20%. You can also teach an Aeon Ultima. That's pretty good. I'm pretty sure that would take most of them, though. I mean, that would be either all of them or a really big amount. The other thing that's kind of cool with these, if you just want to hold on to them or at least have a few, you can use them and they'll cast Ultima.
It kind of kicks up here. So next step up, kind of 6 areas. So it'll take you a little bit longer, but honestly, it's not that bad because you can just again focus on the easy areas. And this one, you'll max out your door to tomorrow's. So let's scroll back on up here. That's again is your overdrive to AP just from 6 areas. So they really get them to you early because why not? And honestly, just to drive the point home here on this kind of leveling weapon, because how quickly you could get this, just go to wants, get that weapon. You know you'll be wanting this on it, right? You can go and just toss it on.
Yeah.
And if you know, okay, man, I'm just gonna sit down for 5-10 minutes, grind out some levels, put that on. Like, why not? Even if it's just one ability, overdrive to AP, just roll with it for now.
Yeah, you can use that. You can put that on everybody. And then the other thing is these items too, these really, really high level items, the door to tomorrow. If you use them in Riku's mix, you get some of the best abilities, the
Yeah.
best mixes.
All right, well, 6 species. You've done quite a bit of capturing at this point, man. You're almost like you're about to go fight the Elite Four at this point. Like you got a lot of Pokemon. I mean, you got a lot of fiends, and so 6 species though. You'll get 99 Gambler Spirit. Now, the customization of SOS Overdrive definitely not worth it in my opinion, man. I'd rather use them for mixing operations instead.
Yeah, Gambler's Spirit I think is usually my go-to as well, just because SOS, I mean, like you said, it's why not just have triple overdrive,
Yeah.
which we'll talk about. It's yeah, exactly, on one of these next ones, which is if you actually get all areas. Now, that is no small feat,
No, no.
but the prize is so good.
Probably just be a few places that'll give you a little bit more trouble, especially capturing. That's the problem. To take them out with attack reels is one thing, but to actually just get a killing blow with the capture weapon, that's another thing. You have to be a little bit more careful sometimes. And anyways, you get all of them, man. Winning Formula 99. Now this one, oof, you really need to plan this out because just like we talked about, that triple overdrive takes 30 of them. You can only put it on 3 people.
Exactly. You just want to make sure choose your 3 and stick with them. So when you're making these weapons, especially for triple overdrive, you're going to want to choose basically first of all you're going to have want to have those 4 slot free weapons to
Yes.
put them onto. Then you're going to want to make sure that you know which characters you're going to go with. And to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter because when you start leveling and when you start, finishing up sphere grids, I mean, there are slight differences inherently within the characters, but it's not gonna be the end of the world.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you got that planned out. Now, keep in mind, all the areas, it's just one of each. So if you are just trying to get that, you can knock it out in a decent amount of time because, the species, yeah, that's longer. You got to catch 10 of every kind of that. And so if you got through all that at this point, the kind of next last 2 little bits here is a different category. So now it's like if you got 5 of every fiend, also a well-earned reward, man. Dark Matter 99. So you get 99 of them. You have some options here. Now, you might be struggling, and yeah, because break damage. If you don't have a lot of celestials, maybe some of those side games and things just really give you trouble, like Chocobo Trainer stuff. You might really, really want break damage. I mean, it might be on a like I want to use this character, I can't get it, so that's that. But that's 60 of them, so that's
True.
one character. And then the other thing,
Yeah.
man, we haven't even talked about that. This one yet is Ribbon 99. You'll use all of them, but Ribbon.
I like to throw that. I mean, that's what I usually like to do here. You mentioned a good point there. For example, I guess for me it would be the Caliburg, right? If I couldn't do that stupid chocobo race under 0 seconds, then I would probably do that. Or for you,
Lightning dodge, man. Yep, can't
lightning
get that in
dodge,
your
yeah,
night.
right. It's kind of nice to have that option, but I almost always, man, I'm telling you, having one character with ribbon is so useful. I mean, aside from death, you don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, seriously. And that especially hard in this one because I mean, even if you had a 4 slot armor in okay, this is just your status protection armor, go for it. Knock yourself out. You're not going to be able to cover half of them. Like, you only get 4.
No.
There's like 12. There's no way you can cover
Yeah.
all of them. So ribbon is in this one is particularly useful.
Yeah, and if you wanted to go that route, if you wanted a character just to be totally immune to everything, you could do Ribbon, Death Proof, Curse Proof. I think those are the only two, Death and Curse, that it doesn't cover.
Yeah. That's maybe a little overkill, but still, the fact, yeah, that's what it would still take. You would still almost fill up
Yeah.
a 4 slot armor. Any way you look at it, though, you pretty much only get one use. Now, kind of a little side note, you could actually teach an Aeon full break, which, I don't know, maybe useful. Only takes 2 of them. So, it's kind of like a shrug, why not kind of a deal. But Yeah, regardless, break damage or ribbon, you can only select one. But we still have one last prize, man.
This one is on it's basically the perfect
I
monster
want to
arena
be
kind of
the
situation.
very best, like no one
Yeah.
ever was.
10 of everything. I mean, just think about that for a minute. This one is like, I think I've done it one time.
Yeah,
It's
man,
so
like
difficult.
this is so time consuming.
Oh yeah. You find yourself running away a lot, you know? Like
Yes,
you'll be in
yeah.
City of Dying Dreams. That's usually in one of the worst places. You're trying to find that Barbados guy, the big old
Oh
turtle
gosh,
looking
yeah.
guy.
Shoulder guard guy, that's what I look at
Yeah,
him as.
exactly. Yeah.
You know, the way I used to do this is I used to just go to each area and I'd make a little list and I'd tally it as I went. Knock it out pretty quick, but still, some of those once you start the easiest and then you work way up, well, I mean, yeah, they start to be frustrating because just encountering the Tonberry in the Cavern of Stolen Face is not very easy. You got to do a lot of
Right.
battles or the Quacktars and different things like that. So,
Yeah, it honestly seems like, I mean, I don't know what your guess would be, man, but honestly seems like some of these encounters have like maybe a 15% chance.
yeah, it's got to be real
Just
low.
takes forever.
If you are crazy enough to do all of it, the 10 Master Spheres, man, that is quite the
Mm,
reward. I mean, you can use it to
that
activate
is.
any node. This really what this is this is a level 4 key sphere saver, is what this is.
I mean, exactly. Any node, even ones you haven't activated. That's the big difference here. We've had friend spheres, we've had what are some of the other ones? Skill spheres, special
Teleport.
spheres, black magic, yeah, attribute spheres, etc. But this one, you can even just bypass, like you said, locks and things like that, and just go straight to quick pockets or straight to full break or zombie strike, ultima, anything you want. You get 10 of them.
Yeah, that's that's great, and especially look at your stockpile. Use something like I don't know, I'll just get Ultima and then use a couple black magic spheres, to learn another characters, stuff like that. So that way you can
Yeah.
kind of make the master spheres last. Share the wealth. It's a lot of work to get to this, so that is quite a feat. But at least, man, Monster Arena as a whole, fantastic rewards. I mean, it's just so, and some of them so easy to get that this was like usually my go-to. Okay, I'm gonna end game. Let me at least just go capture some areas, knock them out, get some quick rewards, and just start customizing.
And then, we kind of mentioned about the weapons and things like that to be able to capture these things. We didn't really talk too much about I mentioned sensor, piercing, first strike. There are a couple other things that you can do here. So for one thing I like to do is at least have one character that you know is going to be able to hit high evasion enemies. I like to choose Waka. You can put some really cool stuff on those weapons. You can do Stone Strike or Death Strike is really, really easy, especially for, 75% of the fiends here.
Yeah, because I mean that's the thing. As long as it's like a killing blow in
It
somehow
counts.
form, then it counts. I mean that's kind of how it is. Some of these having a mixture is kind of a must still because it still follows like ambush marble rules. I mean yeah, you're gonna be trying to have to capture these things, so you're gonna be hunting them. You need weapons that protect you and get the advantages that you'd normally do and whatnot. Overall, man, pretty cool side of the game.
Oh yeah, the prizes are insane.
And well, they'll help you up with this last place. So we're gonna finish off all the areas. I mean, we're not gonna finish off this area, but this is it. This is the last area in Final Fantasy X we have not talked about yet. Omega Ruin. So you can actually, as soon as we got, free reign of the airship, we could have flown straight here if we really wanted to. But once you enter here, you actually do get a little short scene. And man, this is so cool that like kind of the optional areas, they do at least have a little bit of story with it, right? It's not a whole lot, but
Yeah.
there's something there.
You get a little intro scene once you find it. It's basically you kind of just teleport there and you're in this cave with these
Surprise.
purple lanterns and things like that on the wall and whatnot. And Titus is like, "What is this place?" basically, right?
Yeah, he's like, what is this? And here comes Know It All Lulu. She literally knows
Here we
everything. I
go.
was a scholar earlier. Yeah, apparently you were because she's just like 700 years ago, there was a monk that defiled the teaching. Usually, like,
Infidel.
Omega was banished here. Or I don't know, Waka's like, oh, yeah, the traitor
Yeah.
Omega, yeah? And so it's like, ooh,
Yeah.
yes, he's our Comrade, nice to meet you, Omega. Yes, we are infidels and traitors as well. Oh, nice to meet you.
Yeah, and it even shows him, I think it kind of does this camera pan thing where you see, this giant fiend and it's like, oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing. I wonder if we're going to have a boss battle in here.
Yeah, I guess the guy
But
wouldn't be alive after 700 years. Darn it. Well, he's manifested as a fiend. I mean, it's showing him and it's talking to
yeah,
him, and so yeah, he was filled with hatred and all that stuff, and so he turned into this. Great line from Orin though. Scared?
not a chance.
Not a chance. It's like
Not a
okay.
chance.
Well, we're
He's
just
like, I
gonna.
ain't a crybaby anymore. Last time I cried was 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, yeah. You'd have told me that she didn't like me anymore. All right.
Yeah. So obviously, Omega, we got to deal with him. First, we got a whole bunch of enemies.
We do, and this is gonna go over some of the ones we have encountered are the Animantois, Gemini, Great Marble, and Wraith. The Monolith, we covered all these. They've been in Sin or just other areas. So we also went over Great Marble, but the difference here is it's always an ambush, and then it's always gonna use bad breath. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
What you
It's
you looked it
definitely
up and it said it was 33% of the time. Yeah, right. It's more like they forgot to put the 1 in front of that. It's actually 3-digit 133% chance.
it's gonna happen more than
It's
100% of the
gonna
times.
yes, we're gonna just toss it in other
Seriously.
random battles because it's overflow.
Yeah, yeah, you can basically treat this version as a completely different fiend.
Yeah,
It is 100% ambush, and there is something to it. Like you said, when you encounter the one in City of the Forgotten Dreams, sometimes it's not, sometimes he opens with like acid or something like
yeah.
that. But this one, it's almost just it's like the game trolling you. You just
Seriously.
haven't played Final Fantasy blind if you haven't gotten a game over from a Great Marlboro.
Yeah. After you went on a particularly long just kind of training spree in Omega Ruins, and you're like, oh dude,
Yeah.
I'm doing it, I'm leveling up. Yeah, and then nope, game over. And you're redoing that, bud. Sorry. Let's go ahead and start us off, man, because we got this lizard, the Zorus, right? And
Yeah.
nothing really actual special to note. I mean, it's just kind of like the strongest lizard type, but even then, it's only like around 9,000. You'll kill it pretty easily.
The one thing that I will note about the Zorus though is that if you're coming in, say, where we left off the story, you're gonna have such a hard time hitting this guy. He's absolutely insane. Like Waka is probably the only one that can reliably hit it. Titus isn't even gonna be able to hit it.
Yeah.
But it comes in a battle. It's predictably it's always the same thing. It's the most common battle here as well. So you'll be coming
Oh
across
yes.
Zorus and the treasure chest. And so this is kind of an interesting one.
Yeah, because can you actually steal from it? Does it actually have anything?
Yes, it does. It seems like it's, I don't know, 50-50 to be honest. It's kind of like most other treasure chests, but you either get an item or it transforms into a very annoying fiend. It's pretty difficult to deal with, but it has some upside that we'll talk about. It's the mimic. So we've seen
Oh, the
Mimic in Final
mimic.
Fantasy 9. Yeah, it's a classic, and so it mimics the chest. And there's been plenty of those in previous Final Fantasies and things where you're thinking you get something nice, and then you get a big
You just get a
enemy.
big fiend.
And
Yep.
yeah, and it's kind of annoying because it has four types basically. You can kind of tell by the shape, but it doesn't really look like it because it's, I don't know. It's sort of like the pieces of the blown up chest and like
Yeah.
fire and
Yeah.
stuff.
It's pretty interesting. One good thing though is that when you defeat it, you'll get 50,000 gil. That's actually a pretty good job. I
Mm,
mean, that's nice.
yeah.
And if you do have that Gillionaire on, that's 100k a battle. Just one battle. It is the most common battle. You'll in fact be bored of this battle. You'll be like, oh my gosh, please something else.
And one other thing I'll say too on this is that when you're trying to grind for Gil, you'll be wishing that it was the Mimic sometimes. You get kind of annoyed when it's
Yes.
just the Zorus and like some item. And the item you get is pretty good, but not anything crazy. It's usually a mega potion, stamina tablet, mana tablet, something along those lines.
Yeah, not 100,000 or even 50,000.
Right.
Next one, let's talk about the black element. Pretty interesting because I mean we've encountered a lot of the other elements at this point, and usually, let's be honest, they've been probably the biggest joke of Final Fantasy is probably what they are. The elements. you're usually one shot over killing them for like half the game. I mean, that's just by doing normal
True.
battles and stuff. Little different here. Doesn't actually have a weakness, so everything just does normal damage. It uses things like Demi and Flare, which, so I mean, these do decent amounts. And the interesting thing here, though, which actually makes it very dangerous in one particular group, but it casts Berserk, which not many things
Yeah.
do, so that's not really something that you'll usually have protected for.
And you're probably thinking, well, I mean, okay, Berserk, that's not that big of a deal. But think about it. This is kind of interesting. They set this up very nicely, actually, because Black Element, who are you going to have out to take? They have the high defense. I think they got like 220 defense and armored. So you're going to be doing barely anything physical damage wise. But your magic casters are going to be physically weak. And yeah, this actually could get dangerous. If you have the wrong party out there and they happen to all get berserked or,
Yeah.
2 out of 3 or something like that, could be game over because 'cause they're gonna sit there and cast flare on you after that, and you're not gonna be able to take them down. I mean, they don't have a lot of HP, but I know that with physical attacks, it's gonna take a minute.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, usually let's go ahead and talk about. They usually come with the spirit enemy, which is kind of the larva type. This one's for real though. I mean, because it still uses like the aura spells, but it'll still heal itself with Thundaga, so it's kind of still got that going. But it counters with poison mist. I mean, just counters, which is horrible because it causes poison and confusion. And so, I mean, you'll have possible berserk going out. You'll have possible confusion going out. All of their attacks are magical, so no one's breaking, I mean, they're at least not breaking you out of it. I've definitely gotten gamed over on this, right? I mean, because you're not really
Yeah.
expecting that counter.
Yeah, I think Spirit is the one that is not talked about as much as it should, to be honest, because even if you have the first strike to get around the Great Marlboro, Spirit's the other one that could give you a game over. And I also have definitely fallen victim to that at times when I've been on a grinding spree. I've leveled up, I got like 10 sphere levels or something like that. And you attack Spirit, you don't kill him. You're likely going to get hit with a counterattack here. And although it's not 100%, I believe it's 66%, somewhere around there. But you get hit with this and you don't have confusion protection. Yeah, it's going to hurt.
Yeah. Pretty nasty combos with those two can be in. Not really a nasty one, this next guy, huh? Alma.
Yeah, Halma. So that's the one. Also, you can find encounters with two Halmas and one of the spirits, which is kind of annoying more than anything else. They just do a lot of damage. So it's your typical shelled enemy. It doesn't have any special attacks or anything like that. But if you get hit with a poison mist and you're getting hit up by the Halmas as well with their physical attacks, could easily be a game over. So that's something to keep out or keep in mind and watch out for. Another one you can find here too is very similar to it's the same fiend type as the Click, which was the boss that we fought like at the very beginning of the
Yeah,
game.
Baj Temple.
Yeah, Bosch Temple exactly where you saw Riku for the first time and all that. So basically, these guys are the Machias. They'll come in groups of two. Nothing too crazy. I mean, they have poison on hit.
I mean, they got a decent amount of
Yeah.
health. That's kind of always been their kind of strong suit. The rest of it's just, yeah.
Yeah, I guess one thing to mention, these guys actually finally do have like a little special move though. It's kind of hard, I guess. It hits a single enemy, so it's not going to be a game over situation. Blade Rondo, I think it does like 800 to 1200 damage or so.
Okay,
It's
yep.
about the only thing I could watch out for on Makia.
Well, floating death is also another pretty easy one. It's of course the eyeball. I mean, giving it off there, and it's just the same. I mean, it still just causes confusion with gaze. Still has kind of like its supersonic little AOE attack thing, and confusion, of course, is just its danger factor. And so, but I mean, but if you're set on that, you're golden, then probably no issue at all.
Yeah. I gotta say that, man, these names, right? Can you imagine come up with these like, all right, guys, what should we call the ultimate Arrowman in this game?
Floating
Floating
death.
Reaper.
Floating yeah, Reaper.
his,
Yeah.
his guy, is gonna kill you.
The great
And
eye.
the great eye sees all.
Yes.
And even this one too. This is a funny one. I don't know where this comes from, or if this is like mythology, this name or something. Puroboros
Yeah,
is the bomb
Pyroboros.
type.
And it actually looks pretty sweet, but I mean, just again, it's lackluster.
Yeah.
Now the thing is they actually do have quite a bit of health, and so it's like
Yep.
20,000. So the 3-hit rule is still and it's maybe not as easy, but still the what? Self-destruct? It does nothing. You don't have anything to worry about.
No, that's weird. It's almost like they didn't scale self-destruct depending on the level of the enemy. It just seems to do the same amount of damage that it did when, the original bombs on Mihan were using it. Yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head with that one. I guess if you're really underpowered, you're gonna have a hard time. You're not gonna take them down if you can't do more than 7,000 damage.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
But I believe you can use Demi. So if you did something like Demi, will usually do about 7 or 8,000 damage, and then maybe try and do like double cast Blizzagas. Anything that you got really, that's the main thing with these. But the nice thing is they don't have any special attacks. I think that's the disappointing thing about the bombs in this game is I mean they're still just doing the regular attack. It's
Yeah.
fire elemental, so that's really easy to defend against. I mean you can just do null flame and you're good and Fire Aga. It's like, and they don't even have a single attack that hits the entire party.
Yeah, it's kind of a letdown, especially when they come in giant groups of them.
Yeah,
You're like, okay, well, who cares?
but it's
Like, I'm
this,
not
yeah,
threatened all
it's
of a
like the
sudden.
same. Yeah, it's the same strategy.
Well, this next one, man, let me tell you, you got this lamp from your school, and now you're gonna rub it, and out comes Diablo,
Oh, save your game.
who summons me, or whatever he says. Or is he like, you dare summon me here? I forget what he says, but
It says you dare disturb me from my sleep.
well, there you go, man. And you do. No, it's some guy. It's a lookalike. Hey, who is this guy? He's in a costume. It's Faruna, and he seriously does look like Diablo from 8, though. I mean, he looks like the devil.
Oh yeah, he really does. Luckily, this guy's not a complete pushover though. That's the nice thing. So this guy is actually a real pain. Luckily, only ever comes in this encounter of just one because he's pretty tough. Every single battle starts at the exact same way. Haste right off the bat. He has 56,000 HP. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, decent amount. And I mean, gosh, he had so many abilities. I looked at it and I was like, I'm not typing this out. And so I just said
Yeah.
it's ranging from elemental, status effect, death, and more. So, just look it up,
Uh-huh.
guys. He has so much. It's ridiculous. I was like, oh my gosh. And that's actually pretty
Yeah,
cool
he
just because it shows the kind of the amount of scripting they put into just this one random, fiend.
Yeah, he has a lot of really interesting, basically AI kind of commands because he's one of these enemies too that actually is pretty smart. He uses reflect on himself. He can bounce things off of himself,
Yeah.
basically do more damage. Uses all of the Aga spells. Uses death. Uses demi.
I think he uses Berserk.
Pretty sure, yeah, berserk, break. But it's just a lot of really annoying things. It's kind of hard to defend against everything that
Yeah.
Varun is going to be able to show. He does a lot of damage too, and it's this thing of you're gonna have a lot of characters that don't have very good magic defense. So it's definitely not a pushover.
Well, this next one either, man. The Master Quarrels. I mean, these kitties can bite, man. Let me tell you. I mean, they still use their Confuse and Drain and Elemental spells, so that's still the same.
Yeah.
Which is dangerous in itself, but oh my gosh. So this Blaster ability that it uses, though, is particularly dangerous because it causes death, but I guess it doesn't matter even if you have death proof. So it's a 100% guaranteed. I'm assuming if it does hit, right? Because I'm sure it probably might have some hit ratings. I don't know. But regardless,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
if it's causing death, it's causing death. Like, it doesn't matter. It's going to take you out.
Cheaters.
Yeah,
Got like a
cheaters. What the heck? Can't
special
play by the
status effect.
rules.
Come on. Come on, death proof.
First
I
there's
should be able to get
Banish, and
killed.
now there's Blaster.
Seriously, you got these crazy overpowered moves. Imagine if you had that. You
Yeah, I
just
know.
kill basically
I'm just going to kill
the final
you, boss.
Let me
No.
just hit you up with
I
blaster.
got blasted.
My-
Nothing you can do. We're just going to start blasting away.
I start blasting. And then we finally got the OG, from Final Fantasy VII,
love 'em.
Master Tomberry.
Love them,
These
man.
guys,
I thought 8 was
yeah,
the best because you could actually get Master Tomberry as a summon. It was the coolest thing in the world.
yeah. They
Tomberry
should have actually
King.
called him that. Yeah, Tomberry King. They should have called him Master Tomberry. Then again, they should have put a crown on Master
Oh,
Tomberry's
they
head
should have. They should have.
because
Because he does look the
yeah,
same, but he's a master.
yeah.
He's graduated from the chef knife school, and so dude, he's still got that sucker, man. You better watch it because, well, of course, it's the same thing. So we already went over Tomberry. Well, still uses karma, so it does 10 times the enemies that you've killed and the players killed. So it's got its usual thing. It scoots up, and then it shanks you, and I mean, you're gonna die.
Shanks. I know. I wish they retained the doink from Final Fantasy
Yeah.
8. He hits you up, you do a little cartoony doink, and it just kills them. Yeah. One thing that always works for me that is surprisingly effective is late game. I like to teach Yuna. Yeah, I mean, usually Yuna, because she hasn't killed anything up to this point, at least,
Right.
in my games. And you can teach her flare or some really powerful spells, and she has extremely high magic. So double cast plus level 3, Aga spells, and it's game over. I mean, then this guy cannot like especially with the status effect, you can also put him to sleep.
Yeah, and that's just particularly game over. Have Yuna and Lulu blasting away. I mean, it's not even going to be using
Yeah,
karma. Nothing can do. Easy peasy.
right.
So thankfully, there is an easy way of taking them out because otherwise, oof, man, that could be a slugfest.
It'd be one of those situations where they're just getting taken out constantly, and you're gonna have to be reviving all the time,
Yeah.
especially Titus, Waka, Orin, and typically Lulu. So I guess the ones that you might want to try and go with is like Riku or Yuna with Black Magic's amazing.
Well, that's all the enemies. So, as we walk around, this area is just like the Sea of Sorrow. So, it's not discovered. It'll kind of fill in as you walk around, and so that's pretty cool. And there's a lot to do here, but unfortunately, we're just out of time. Womp womp. We'd like to thank you all for hanging out, to support our podcast by listening. We really do appreciate the support.
Yeah, thanks to all our listeners. Like Mark said, we really do appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoy it as much as we do.
Absolutely. All right, well, we'll catch you in the next one. I'm Mark,
And I'm Alex.
and this is Final Stop for Final Fantasy Talks.